Greetings Tomb Raider fans, the wait is finally over and we have two brand new Tomb Raider games to discuss. Let's get into it. It's going to be a long video. We're going to analyze the trailers of the two Tomb Raider games that are coming. Still can't believe we're getting two games in the next 2 years. It's very exciting and we have a lot of things to discuss. So thank you for joining me and let's get right into it. I have been on a huge high since it was all announced at the Game Awards, and I hope that everybody that was a little bit skeptical about there being another remake of Tomb Raider 1 is just as excited as I am now, because if you ask me what's the best case scenario for, you know, the next few years for Tomb Raider, this is it. This is the good place. This is exactly what I wanted. So it feels really good to be on this side of history. Anyway, I'd like to discuss the trailers and break them down for you shot by shot. Both trailers we've got are really interesting and there's a lot that we can discuss. We're going to start with the Catalyst trailer first. When I first saw this shot, I didn't think Tomb Raider at all. I don't know why, but I just was a little bit hard done by because it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I hadn't seen any Tomb Raider news yet, even though it was promised to us 100 times throughout the show. So we have this establishing shot of this city during this festival. Now, judging by some of the symbols, some of the signs on the lampposts, it seems like it's taking place during Diwali. Now, we know that Tomb Raider Catalyst takes place in India, and also we know it's coming in 2027. So Diwali takes place on the 29th of October in 2027. So possible release window, October 2027. I think that would be really great if it all lined up with the actual Diwali. Now we have some neon signs around here. We've got the Hotel Agarwal. I believe this is just a popular Indian surname, so I don't think that it's anything in particular. We also have this building behind, which is called Lal Mahal, and I looked it up as well. It's where Shivaji I, founder of the Maratha Empire, spent his childhood. I believe that's the location of this particular town, so it's Diwali, and it's in the city of Pune in Western India. So it's very colourful. We've got lots of fireworks, lots of festivities going on. Looks so beautiful. And clearly it means if there's a lovely, beautiful town in Tomb Raider, it means it's going to blow up and everyone is going to be in danger. Now we see this monkey enjoying an apple. Definitely a Tomb Raider 3 reference, the little monkey. I think that's really cute. And then we see Lara walking here with her boots. She's got a knife strapped to her leg. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of these boots. Although now that I'm looking at them, it looks like those high boots that you can like fold down. I'm not a big fan of the boots, but we'll discuss the outfit a little bit more later on. Okay, now we have Lara in her hotel room, and the first thing that I noticed was it's not a particularly glamorous hotel room. Okay, Lara Croft comes from a place of high wealth. If she wanted to have the prestige, you know, penthouse suite in the most expensive hotel in this city, she could choose it. But she's clearly going for an incognito vibe because the lights are off. She's chosen a hotel that's really close to the city. So it gives me this impression that she's on some kind of spy mission. Very espionage, very stealthy. And here we see Lara's equipment. We've got lots of things to look at here. So we've got her dual pistols, which are definitely making a return in the mainline game. Not just the Tomb Raider 1 remake, but dual pistols are back. Very happy about that. It is so important for Lara to have them, and I can't believe it's the first game since Underworld that we're going back to it, but thank God it's here. But interestingly, the bow is also here in the foreground. So the bow is making a return, which I'm a little bit surprised about because I just felt like a bow is very impractical to bring on your adventures, but it doesn't show up in the trailer after this shot, which could imply that the bow is collapsible and fits in the backpack, a little bit like we see in the anime as well. So that's interesting to think about. We've also got her grapple. We have this grapple gauntlet and we're going to see a better shot of it in a moment. She's got some ammunition, some magazines on the bed, and she's also got this backpack. And I've been looking at this backpack quite closely and I can't really discern what this part on the front is supposed to be. Initially, I thought it might be a shovel, which I thought was a really cool idea if we're going to do some actual archaeology and some digging. And I have a theory that that's going to be kind of a gameplay aspect of this game as well. but I can't really figure out what this is supposed to be exactly. I also saw some fans thinking that this could be some kind of parachute, and we've got a little bit more to talk about that later on as well. I also just want to show off Lara's iconic silhouette. It's great to see Lara not just in a vest, but also with the gloves on and the holsters on the side. She's got that classic silhouette, and we are so back. We're so back. It's really, really good to see. Here we get a little bit of a closer look at the grapple. She's got this grapple gauntlet. Interesting design, interesting evolution of the grapple. I like that it's doing its own thing, but I have to say, I think it looks a little bit too steampunk, a little bit too Assassin's Creed Syndicate for me. I much prefer when the grapple hook is just on her belt and it's just a traditional hook. I think it looks a little bit better. And I don't think it really looks as good for a silhouette on Lara. But here we go, you can see a little bit better here. The cool thing about it is it does seem to make an impression in gameplay as well. We can see her using it in combat. Of course, we'll look at that again in a little bit, but I liked to see that as well. Now she's entering this cave, this ancient cavern, and I tried to look up and see if I could find a temple that looked just like this one on the left here. You've got this temple with colors of red, blue, and yellow. I tried to find an Indian temple that kind of looked like this, but I struggled to find something. But what I did find, there are lots of really colorful temples, and I am under the impression that this is referencing a particular mythology, and I'm going to show you what I think it is in a moment, but I believe it's the Navagraha temple. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in just a moment. We also have this big statue here in the earth, so that's really beautiful. And look at Lara's silhouette here again. She just looks so cool. And also I just have clocked that she's got this LED light. So she's not using a flare, she's not using glow sticks or a torch. We're using a flashlight that's on her backpack. And I think it works for games. I feel like it's just the thing that games do now. So it's cool, I guess. But I kind of love the glow stick approach myself. I'm more of a flare kind of guy. Okay, there's a lot to talk about here. Now, we've got these statues here. There's 9 statues. Now, I believe that these are the 9 deities of Navagraha, which is the 9 heavenly bodies that influence human life on Earth, according to Hindu mythology. I was trying to place one by one which statue is which, but I couldn't figure it out. But some interesting things that you can see here. You've got this particular statue is holding a temple. This one is holding a sitar. This one is holding a spear. This one is holding some kind of sphere, which makes me think that it's the sun deity, potentially. But I'm learning as I go when it comes to Indian mythology, but it's going to be really interesting to learn all about this culture. The interesting thing about the 9 celestial bodies is that it does have a little bit of a reference to alchemy, because you've got the different symbols. You've got Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. And then the last 2 are the lunar nodes. So potentially there's some kind of alchemic vibe going on, a little bit like Tomb Raider Chronicles, Philosopher's Stone kind of vibe. I don't know, kind of interesting. And now we see a closer look at this group of people. So there's 5 of them. And I believe this is the Society of Raiders. I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make, because they don't look like traditional mercenaries. They actually look a lot more like archaeologists, because look at this guy. He's got a hat on, and he's got this like explorer's backpack. This guy has some vapes for some reason. I'm not sure why he's brought his elf bars on his journey, but whatever. Now Lara descends into this group. I think it's really ballsy of her to just drop into a group of 5 people. She's not trying to be very stealthy here, but I think that's kind of great too, because it shows her new confidence and her new personality, the new side of her. So she drops down, and we have this lady narrating, who has a really cool visual design. I really like this particular villain, and I wonder who she's going to be. She's got this almost safari look. The color scheme and the clothing, it really is giving archaeology vibes. I'm pretty certain that this is the society that we've heard up until this point. She seems to be a little bit dictatorish. She seems to want Lara dead, because she's talking about, you know, snuffing out her legend. So she seems to have some kind of vendetta against Lara. Maybe they've got some personal history. Maybe Lara stole something from her, or vice versa, in the archaeology community. So that's kind of interesting to think about. You can also see behind her we've got these beautiful engravings. We've got this temple. We've got this sun image behind her with these clouds. So this whole celestial imagery is certainly going to be a big part of this game, I think. You can see you've also got this lotus symbol on the door, which also matches this lotus symbol that we see here on the floor. So this is definitely an image that you want to pay attention to because it's also in the logo. The other thing I wanted to talk about here, you can see this particular guy has got what looks like a hammer on his side. So these are definitely archaeologists, and because of the way that Lara's own outfit looks, we'll see a better look at it in a moment, but it definitely is looking like archaeology is going to be a big part of potentially gameplay. So imagine that there's a lot of excavation that we have to do, a lot of digging. If you've played Tomb Raider Anniversary, you'll know there's the archaeology toolkit, and you can do those like engravings and those charcoal rubbings, and there's lots of digging and dusting with the brush. And if that's a part of gameplay, I think that could be a really, really cool evolution, because it's kind of funny that we love this protagonist that's all about archaeology. We've never actually done any excavation. We're just raiding tombs and solving puzzles. Not that that's not just anything. I love doing that. But if there's an actual gameplay element of archaeology, that could be very, very cool too. So she uses her grapple. We can see her quite nicely here, but we get a better shot of her in a minute. She uses her grapple and she pulls this light that they've got. She pulls it down. You can see there's one more light that's standing up, but she pulls this one over and it destroys, and then the other one also goes dark. I think that wouldn't happen, but it's just a trailer. She pulls out her pistols, and we get a really nice shot of her outfit here. You can see she's got this white top on, she's got a black undershirt, she's got a red neck scarf, sort of almost like a cowboy. She's got these dark trousers. I really hope these aren't jeans. I don't think they are, but that would be egregious if you ask me. She's got what looks like some kind of climbing rig on top of her holsters, which is really interesting if climbing is going to be a big mechanic in the game, and we've got some things we can speculate a little bit about that as well. I like that her top is a little bit cropped. I just think it looks really good, but some of the colors I feel like are a little bit strange for me, but that could potentially change in the future. I'm also not a big fan of how small her boots are, but I would imagine that the unified outfit we see in the Tomb Raider 1 remake is going to be present in this game as well, so we'll have to wait and see. It's just nice to see Lara wearing a cool outfit and actually shooting people for once. Oh, look how cool she looks here. Oh, this is really great. Or you can see an even better image of this sort of lotus flower on the gate. That's cool. Look at her, look at that stare she's doing. And her hair looks really interesting. It's almost like it's braided round the side of her head and then coming down as well. Her hair is really different this time around. You can see she's taking out these guys. Very different look for Lara. But I like that it's also nothing that we had been expecting. You know, it's got the unified elements with the chest strap and the double holsters again, but it looks different. It's very different from what we expect. She elbows this guy in the face, hilarious. Then she uses her grapple here, and she flips in the air and kicks this female villain. Bam! Cool, this whole grapple mechanic looks like it's going to be a part of gameplay, which is really great. And Lara looks like a really cool fighter now. So she pushes this woman on the floor, pulls out her guns. You can see here, I couldn't tell before in some of the other shots if she had a necklace, but you can definitely see she's got the necklace under her neck scarf here. You can see the green pendant is right here. But her look is really cool. I mean, you look at her from the side, she definitely looks like Underworld Lara and an evolution of that. You've got the braid, backpack again. Ah, very cool. She pulls out her double pistols. Ah, nice shot, nice shot. You can see Lara's reflection in this lady's sunglasses. Really cool shot. Lara is very domineering, very aggressive, and overall very cool. And Lara's line here, she says she's just getting started. How I chose to interpret this line is, I don't know if you remember, there was that leak that suggested that she might have a team of people and she'd be handing the torch down of this Tomb Raider mantle, and she might be retiring, but I don't think that's the case. She's saying that she's just getting started, she's back, and she's ready for a new series of games in this sort of vibe, this sort of world. So I think we've got a lot to look forward to, and I don't think we've seen the last of Lara Croft after these 2 games. Her face is gorgeous. And the first thing I notice is that she looks visibly older, especially compared to the Tomb Raider 1 remake. And that is a huge plus for me, because Lara has always been depicted as being quite young, especially over the last 10 years. And it's good to see her seasoned, experienced, and mature. On that note, though, her hair looks a little bit lighter here at the top, and I started to wonder if that's just a reflection of the light, or if she's going grey. That might be a step too far for me, but I think it's just the light, because if you have a look in another shot, we don't really see it that well. I think this black undershirt she's got here looks strange. I'm not a fan of it. And you can see on her guns, she's got that Society of Raiders logo here as well. So Lara is definitely affiliated with this group, and we'll see a better shot of the guns later in the Tomb Raider 1 Remake trailer 2. Now we have this sequence of this tomb collapsing. Some kind of catalyst has triggered, where these enormous pillars are shooting out of the ground. Lara's doing some free running here, which is great. Looks really cool. I'd love it if there's some new parkour movement in the game. I think that would be really cool. As these pillars are climbing, and then we get a really good shot of her face here. And yeah, she doesn't look grey at all. It's just some light reflecting off her face. You can see here she's got a communicator, so maybe she's talking with Zip. So he's definitely going to be featured in this game. Then we have this shot of these giant pillars coming out of the ground. I tried to look up and see if there was a particular blue dome temple, but I couldn't find anything. And yeah, this is just incredibly gorgeous. You can see there's this floating temple up here, but Lara's doing this very Tomb Raider legend pose here, which is really cool. And I'm not sure if these pillars are going to impact the city, but I'm imagining that city that we see the Diwali celebrations happening might be devastated by this ancient city coming out of the ground. And that's what Lara says. She says, as I looked upon this ancient world reawakening, clearly there's this giant ancient structures that are coming out of the ground. Maybe it's going to be lots of big open world, lots of tombs to explore. You can also see here, I think there's some lava down here. And you can also see in one of the earlier shots too, you can see here there's some lava on some of these pillars that is coming out of the ground. So maybe there's going to be a whole section later in the game that has a bunch of lava as well. So that could be really interesting. Tomb Raider Catalyst with this lotus symbol again. Not sure how I feel about this particular title. I'm sure I'll warm to it. I wasn't expecting that kind of name. So there you go. That's the Tomb Raider Catalyst trailer. So yeah, 2027 Tomb Raider Catalyst. Really exciting. Brand new mainline game. Looks like a huge evolution of the series. And Jeff Keighley said that it was the biggest adventure that we've ever had. The only thing I'd say to this is it looks like there's not going to be a lot of globetrotting. Maybe it's just set in one location the whole time, which is a little bit disappointing. But if the locations are varied and expansive, I mean, you've got these beautiful mountains here, so maybe there's some snowy regions as well as the grassland and the jungle and the ruins. So maybe that if there's a varied location list, then it could be interesting, but I really do miss the globetrotting aspect, as I mentioned in my previous video. So yeah, what do you think of Tomb Raider Catalyst? Let me know. I'd love to hear what everybody thinks about this new game and Lara's new design. And yeah, can't wait to see it. Maybe October 2027, around Diwali. Could be really good timing, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Now, on to what I think people might be a little bit more excited to talk about, and that's the Tomb Raider 1 remake. I was right. it feels good to be right. Let's just say that. I'm very happy. So this is Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, a Tomb Raider 1 remake. Looks a little bit more like a Tomb Raider Anniversary remake, and we will have a little bit of a discussion about that as well as we go through this trailer. But there's lots of imagery here that we can discuss. This trailer takes place entirely in Peru, which I think is very good to start off with. In fact, I'd actually not like to see any of the other locations, especially not Atlantis. But we do have a little bit of a tease of some images, which I can show you a little bit later on. I don't want to see too much. I don't want too much revealed for me. I want to go into this really blind, as little information as I can. But I realize that I make Tomb Raider videos. I'm going to have to cover it a lot as it comes out. So we'll have to see. But
it's been years.
We see this beautiful, huge Lost Valley. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Incredible. It's an actual valley now. It's enormous. And if you think, because you can see a little bit that there's this temple here behind Lara's head. If we can swim down and explore all of this area, what? This is incredible. It's really pushing Unreal Engine 5. I mean, and look at all this wildlife. You've got all these birds. You've got this huge rock archway, which could be a reference to the archway that's in Tomb Raider 1 Lost Valley, which is a little bit iconic. So Lara does this beautiful swan dive. Her form and her grace is looking fabulous as she dives into the water. We see her unified outfit, of course. Very interesting that they revealed the unified outfit 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago, actually. The Call of Duty expansion was the first 3D model that we saw of unified Lara's design. I wonder if they showed us the design beforehand because they wanted us to, you know, see if we liked it. I think they wanted our notes as well. They wanted to see what we had to say about the design before they committed. Because there's some differences between some of the models. One of those differences actually is you can see the leg straps, and some people had complained about her having 2 leg straps, but she's still got them, but this one blends in very well with her, the cuff of her shorts, so the silhouette is not quite as ruined. Here you can see on her pistols she's got that Society of Raiders logo, so they're potentially going to be present in this game as well. Now we see this really big, expansive shot. You can see this mountainous region where you begin the adventure, and then we're going to descend into this valley and all of these pyramids and temples and structures, and I kind of just still can't believe this is even happening. It is so good. And Lara's unified design, oh, she's looking incredible. Flying Wild Hog is also working on this game, and I had a look at some of their library of games. They don't have that many. There's maybe 4 games on Steam that I could find that they've made. All of them are live service games, so I would worry if Tomb Raider ever went in the direction of live service, because I think it's not sustainable, and also not what we're here for Tomb Raider. We're not here for microtransactions and DLCs that you have to keep paying for. I just want a big, expansive adventure game, but it looks like we will be getting that. So here we see this hallway with this temple door and the darts. This is definitely reminding me of the room in Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider Anniversary. It does look a little bit different from those because I thought it looked a little bit more cramped. You don't have those slanted roofs either as well that we see, but I believe it's the entrance to the city of Vilcabamba. You can see that there is some handholds here, some platforming that can be done all up in this area, and there's also some rooms up here that we can travel around. So I'm pretty sure that this is the entrance to the city of Vilcabamba. But here we see this gorgeous look at the Lost Valley. And it could be that we enter the valley from this direction, and potentially the Tomb of Qualopec is behind the waterfall, this particular waterfall. You can see what looks like a cog down here, so maybe that's how that's going to work. And also you can see there's some mechanisms up here, which might be what causes the waterfall to shut off. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy. There's this bridge here to the left, and you can also see some areas down here that potentially we can platform under, so that's going to be really exciting. Oh, Lara. Oh! She looks so good, and I'm so happy that that white undershirt is gone. I have a feeling that they did all of those collaborations showing unified Lara's design just so that they could improve it every single time, get player feedback and see what we thought. Because even on the Dead by Daylight collab, which was only last year, she still had the white undershirt. But they've removed it since. I'm a big fan of this design. I've already made a video last year talking about why I love it so much. I think it's a really great evolution of Lara's design. I don't mind the pendant at all. I think it makes sense because they are telling us that the reboot trilogy is Lara's origin story leading into this game. So I don't mind it at all. I think it looks good. I love her facial expressions and her face in general. She just is so beautiful. She's gorgeous and she looks so confident and she's so happy to be there. It's just such a return to the original character, and I just hope that her personality and her personal story within this won't revolve around her parents, and she's going to be just genuinely excited to be raiding tombs and to be here. So very, very exciting, very interested. Now we can see this section here that I believe is just after this. So you can see you've got this temple up here and also these waterfalls coming down here. It goes all the way further up the mountain here. And I believe that that is what we're seeing right here, because you can see that that temple matches the one from before. And my theory is that the cogs and the cog room is going to be inside of this particular temple. But I also have this idea that there's going to be multiple different rooms around the valley that will have cogs that we have to repair. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But Lara has this grappling hook that she's brought with her. Interestingly, we'll talk a little bit more, but you can see that she's got the grapple hook on her arm, but it's only in one shot, but we'll get that. Here you can see some handholds which we can climb up. And there's also some more white ledges over here. Return of the white ledges. You've got this bridge here on the left and also a sack of stones. So potentially that's going to fall down, maybe by a bird or some kind of enemy is going to make this fall down. But then there's also a grappling hook point, it looks like, which you can use to navigate across this bridge even when it collapses, which is a sort of a reference to Tomb Raider Anniversary as well. Here we've got the cog room with this enormous wheel. Doesn't look like we'll be looking for those tiny cogs anymore. I think we're going to have these big rooms that is going to be a platforming section where we have to get the cogs spinning using muscle, using physicality. So I'm thinking that there's going to be lots of different rooms around the valley that we will have to repair in order to make the structure lower for the Tomb of Qualopec to be entered. But that's just my theory. And then you've got this water wheel here. This waterfall is making this spin down. And we've got these poles swinging, which is going to go into this platforming section up here. So really cool to see all of that. Lara's doing her flips. Really great to see that she's coming back to these acrobatic movements. It looks just like Anniversary. And very, very beautiful. You can see that this is actually right next to that temple that we just saw, because you've got the drawbridge here with the sack of stones up there. Lara is jumping across this big pit with the broken bridge. But there's another bridge later on in the trailer, so I think that not only is this a reference to that one bridge in Tomb Raider 1, but I think there's going to be lots of these sorts of locations all around the valley, because the valley is just so enormous. She does a handstand, really cool. All of those elements from the classics are coming back. So we've got these dinosaur tracks in the floor. Looks like this is the first inkling that there's some dinosaurs for Lara. She's probably thinking, oh, this is strange. What is making these tracks? For the reveal of the Velociraptors and the T-Rex, of course. Also mirroring the tracks that you see in Tomb Raider 1 on the floor. I like that it's sparking a little bit of mystery, and Lara's using her archaeology brain to figure out what's going on here, and then she's surprised to see, oh, there's some hostiles in this environment, there's some dinosaurs. Tomb Raider quintessentially is woman, blue top, pistols, dinosaurs. I feel like that is the vibe, and how great is it that we're coming back to this? We've got some combat here. I'm really interested in the way that Lara shoots her guns. She's extending one arm to shoot one and then the other. So it's almost like she's going like this as opposed to just doing this. Does that make sense? Her shooting technique is really interesting. I had the biggest reaction here when she jumps back. And it's almost like an adrenaline dodge, like an anniversary, and that got a huge reaction out of the two of us. But I just love that we've got the pistol gameplay with the acrobatics and the jumping and the backflips. It's all coming back. It's exactly as we remembered it, but just so much better. Now we've got the Tomb of Qualopec, of course. We've got the swinging blades, just like in Anniversary. And some of the colours are lost. I'm particularly fond of Tomb of Qualopec in the original because it's got the bright oranges and the bright reds. That was very lost in Anniversary. And it seems like they're making up for it a little bit by putting a lot of fire and a lot of burners in the Tomb of Qualopec. But you can see there's like a little bit of this redness on the walls as well, so it's not totally lost. But Lara's doing her acrobatics here. Really cool to see these back again, used in actual gameplay, so they actually have a mechanic to avoid traps. Now, as we know in Tomb of Qualopec, you've got those side rooms with the levers that are supposed to bring up the doors in order to enter where the ski-on piece is. So this is the next room that we can see. There's some kind of statue and there's some kind of jaw with maybe something in it, or maybe that's just a flame. But looks like there's a big pit underneath it as well, so there's going to be a big platforming section here as well. Then we've got this boulder crashing down, and initially I thought this boulder was chasing Lara here, but I don't believe it is. She does this big leap, but this looks like it's at the roof of the tomb to me, because you can see underneath here, you've got the actual room where the ski-on would be up in. So I think that the boulder falls down in this part down here, but the tomb is collapsing now because Lara has grabbed the ski-on, so that's why she's running for her life. You can see down here there's some lava maybe, or some fire. The tomb is catching fire now that we're running away. She's jumping between these big platforms. There's some Aztec imagery going on with these platforms, which is interesting. Here we see what I believe is a particular room in Tomb Raider 1 where you're going down into the tomb further. I'm going to show what room I think this is in Tomb Raider 1 up on screen here, but I love the ice imagery. My initial thought was maybe that there's these gongs and this puzzle, and maybe you have to use the gongs to smash the ice to get further into the level. That was my thought. Lara's doing some swimming here. The plants here look very lush and green. I'm thinking this is in the Lost Valley, or maybe in the city of Vilcabamba. Lara's shooting some wolves. Again, you can see a little bit better her shooting technique. She extends one arm after the other. Kind of interesting. I think Lara looks fantastic. I'm so pleased. So pleased. She looks so cool. She's lowering her guns because she's seen the T-Rex has come around the corner, just like the Anniversary cinematic, so definitely a reference there. The T-Rex is chasing Lara. She's crossing this bridge. This has got to be a different bridge later on because this one is actually intact, at least a little bit, but the T-Rex kind of destroys it and Lara's fighting for her life here. We've got this shot of her sliding under the T-Rex's belly. Looking very Relic Run to me, which is a really cool reference. And now we see a couple different shots of some different rooms. So this has got to be City of Vilcabamba here. You've got these idol structures here and some fog, so they've got some nice atmosphere. Now this is very clearly the entrance to the Lost Valley, which is in City of Vilcabamba. You've got those two side rooms. You've got these pillars at the top with the levers that you pull, just like in Anniversary and in the main game. And you can see up there, you've got those rooms. So this is definitely that area. This looks to me like that snow room with the gongs, which I mentioned before. You've got that room, that hallway with the darts. You've got some really cool imagery here with the snow and the icicles. And then, of course, we see the main entrance to caves. Now this looks to me like it's definitely modeled after Anniversary as opposed to Tomb Raider 1 because you've got the structure that you can climb up. It looks like there's a grapple ring here. So this definitely looks more to me like a remake of Anniversary as opposed to Tomb Raider 1. At least in some instances. So we'll have to see what it's going to look like in the final product. And then we have our logo. And I much prefer this logo over the Catalyst logo, to be honest. I think this bold, striking steel logo really reminds me of the classics. And I just think this font looks a lot better for Tomb Raider. It looks a lot more like the originals. This font here for Legacy of Atlantis is also reminding me a little bit of Underworld. So it's nice to see that unification come through with the logo as well. So yeah, that's the trailers. Coming 2026. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe this is coming. It's really, really cool. I also just wanted to quickly show that we've got this new website. It's called playtombRaider.com, showcasing the 2 new games. What we can see down here is we've got some concept art. It looks like of Egypt, so we get a little bit of an introduction as to what that area of the game is going to look like. I love the colors. I love that you've got this blue up here, you've got the golds and the greens, and it's looking a lot more visually striking than how grey and brown the Anniversary looked. So this is a huge improvement for me. We also have this image. It looks like we're getting additional outfits, definitely. This is a Tomb Raider Underworld inspired outfit. Of course, it's the wetsuit, and fabulous. She looks fabulous. Her hair is a little bit different here with the fringe, and you've got the ponytail instead. So really cool that we get additional outfits. That's confirmed. In order to claim this, you need to sign up for Amazon Games ID. Not sure what that is. Not sure if it's actually going to be any use, but whatever. But you can see this artwork behind Lara is the Poseidon tomb in St. Francis Folly. So we get a little bit of an introduction as to what that's going to look like with this big statue of Poseidon. You've got this, what looks like a dome area as well. It looks like a cylindrical room. And that particular room is my favourite of the tombs in St. Francis Folly, so I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like. And then finally, you've got down here this Ski-On logo, which is definitely a redo of the Anniversary Ski-On as opposed to the Tomb Raider 1 Ski-On. So it looks like they've drawn a lot more of their inspiration from Anniversary than they have from Tomb Raider 1, at least from some of the things that we have seen. I guess we'll have to find out when the actual game comes out. Next year, 2026. I can't believe we have to wait less than 12 months for a brand new Tomb Raider game. I can't believe it, and I'm so excited. It's just nice to be on the good side of Tomb Raider. They've definitely listened to player feedback. I mean, we got the remasters, now we're getting a remake and a brand new Tomb Raider adventure that is a lot more inspired by the classic design. So it's just great to see all of these things come together and finally be out of the reboot era. So I'm very happy about that. So those are the trailers. Can't wait for more information, but I guess we're going to have to wait a little while before we see any more news. But thank you so much for joining me. I will definitely be covering more Tomb Raider news in the future when we get some. And there'll be lots more discussions about these games and lots more coverage in the new year. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you enjoyed the trailers, and let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, and I also have a Discord server if you want to join. We've got lots of Tomb Raider fans in there that love to discuss news and events and Tomb Raider in general. So please feel free to join us. A link for that will be in the description. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Adios.